Good afternoon, members and friends of Calvary Baptist Temple. It's time for your video devotion of the week. Today it comes from Exodus 23, and in verse number 14, the Bible says this: 3 times thou shalt keep a feast unto me in the year. Thou shalt keep the feast of unleavened bread. Thou shalt eat the unleavened bread 7 days, as I commanded thee, in the time appointed of the month Abib. For in it thou camest out from Egypt, and none shall appear before me empty. And the feast of harvest, that's the second, the first fruits of thy labors which thou hast sown in the field, and the feast of ingathering, that's the third, which is the end of the year, when thou hast gathered all thy laborers out of the field. So 3 times a year, the nation of Israel was commanded to make their pilgrimage into Jerusalem, to the temple, or into where the tabernacle was, and present themselves before the Lord. Exodus, I believe it's chapter 32, gives us a little bit more detail about that, and says that God would protect them while they were on their journey. No one would invade their land. No one would mess with their property back home, as long as they were obedient. And the purpose of it was threefold. There was 3 different feasts. The first feast was to celebrate their salvation, the coming out of the eating of the unleavened bread, coming out of Egypt, their deliverance, how God spared them there, and that they were to live a separated life, unleavened, leaven being a picture of sin. And so they were to come out from the world, celebrate coming out from the world, and then continue to stay out of the world. The second was then the feast of the harvest and the feast of harvest and the first fruits of their labors. There they were to give God presents and gifts, thanking Him for how good He had been to them. And then the last, the Bible says, was the Feast of Ingatherings. And this one's gone by several different names in different passages. But basically, it was to memorialize or symbolize the temporal nature of this earth. That they were going, the harvest had finished, the season was over, but then the next season was coming right back around. And that nothing was ever stable, nothing was ever permanent in this life. They were to live in huts and to remember that they were temporal here and heaven was their home. What's all of this have to do with us? Well, a couple times a year, we go out of our way as a church to have special meetings where we come together. This coming Sunday, we have it in our revival meetings. Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Brother Sam Davison coming in. Looking forward to a great preaching. Well, what's the purpose? Well, much the same as the nation of Israel's purposes were. Number 1, to see people saved, to come out from Egypt, and to celebrate our salvation and our continual stance outside of Egypt. Over the years, it's just easier and easier to drift back into things that are inappropriate and things that we've separated from previously. And we don't even realize it. Just being in the world, we kind of drift back into it. Second, Feast of Harvest, just to celebrate how good God has been. And God has been so, so very good to us. And then third, the ingatherings, that we remember that this is just temporal. This is all just temporal. This building, our lives, our wealth, all of it is temporal. But the souls of mankind will live on for eternity somewhere. And so may we focus in. I hope you're praying about revival. Hope you're planning on coming. Looking forward to having a great time, a great week, and just excited about it. Hope to see you there. Thanks. God bless.